15 Yale seniors are inducted into Skull and Bones' secret society every year. Just 15. In 192 years since founding in 1832, that's approximately 2,880 members total. Small, exclusive, deliberately limited. Now here's what should make you uncomfortable. That tiny group has produced 3 U.S. presidents: William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, multiple Supreme Court justices, dozens of senators and congressmen, CIA directors and founders, Treasury secretaries running American financial policy, and CEOs controlling Fortune 500 companies. One 5-member Yale graduating class in 1968 produced a future president, George W. Bush, and future Secretary of State John Kerry, who opposed each other in 2004 election. Both Skull and Bones, both from same tiny Yale society, both pretending their undergraduate secret society membership wasn't relevant while refusing to discuss what happens inside the windowless building they met in weekly for 4 years. But here's where this transcends interesting coincidence about one Yale society and becomes pattern revealing how power actually works in America. Skull and Bones is just the most visible entry point into broader network of interlocking elite organizations that staff every presidential administration, regardless of party. The Council on Foreign Relations, private organization founded 1921, has provided virtually every Secretary of State, Defense Secretary, Treasury Secretary, CIA Director, and Federal Reserve Chairman for past 70 years. The Trilateral Commission, founded 1973 by David Rockefeller, has included 19 U.S. presidents or vice presidents either before or after holding office. The Bilderberg Group meets annually in complete secrecy with 130 attendees, including heads of state, bank CEOs, tech executives, and media owners coordinating policy before returning to implement it from positions of power. This is the story of how elite networks recruit from same universities, initiate members through same secret societies and invitation-only organizations, rotate members between government positions and corporate boards through revolving door, coordinate policy through private meetings beyond democratic oversight, and maintain continuity across generations, ensuring power stays within class that controls access, revealing the dark truth that democracy lets you choose between candidates. But the candidates themselves come from selection system you cannot access, groomed through institutions you cannot join, coordinating through organizations that meet in secret, implementing agenda determined by networks answering to no voters. Let's start with Skull and Bones because it's most documented, and because the membership list alone proves this isn't coincidence. The society was founded 1832 at Yale by William Huntington Russell and Alphonso Taft, father of President William Howard Taft. Meeting place is called the Tomb, windowless building at Yale where members gather weekly during their senior year, perform initiation rituals that remain secret, and form bonds lasting lifetimes. Membership is 15 per year, selected during junior year through tapping process where existing members choose new members. Once you're in forever. Bonesmen, as they call themselves, maintain connections throughout careers, help each other get positions, and create what they explicitly call networks of influence. The membership roster is public knowledge, and reading it reveals the pattern. William Howard Taft, Skull and Bones class of 1878, later became U.S. President, 1909 to 1913, Chief Justice of Supreme Court, 1921 to 1930. Henry Stimson, class of 1888, Secretary of War under Taft, Hoover, and FDR, served in cabinet under 3 presidents from both parties across 40 years. Prescott Bush, class of 1917, Senator from Connecticut, father of one president and grandfather of another. George H.W. Bush, class of 1948, Congressman, CIA Director 1976 to 77, Vice President 1981 to 89, President 1989 to 93. George W. Bush, class of 1968, President 2001 to 2009. John Kerry, class of 1966, Senator, Secretary of State, 2013 to 17. Steve M. Mnuchin, class of 1985, Treasury Secretary, 2017 to 21. But here's the hook that makes this undeniable. The 2004 presidential election featured George W. Bush versus John Kerry, both skull and bones, both from Yale, both initiated in the tomb 2 years apart, both refusing to discuss society membership when asked directly by media. Tim Russert asked both candidates separately on Meet the Press about skull and bones. Bush response, "It's so secret we can't talk about it." Kerry response, "Not much because it's a secret." They laughed it off, but think about what that means. Both candidates for President of United States are members of secret society they refuse to discuss, meeting weekly for year in windowless building performing rituals they won't describe, maintaining lifetime bonds through organization that explicitly creates networks of influence. And nobody in media pushed harder because, and here's another hook, many prominent journalists are also members of elite societies and clubs creating same networks. The society matters not because of rituals, probably adolescent theater, but because of network. If you're skull and bones and need recommendation for graduate school, job at law firm, position in government, or corporate board seat, you call another bonesman. They help because that's the point, mutual advancement through lifetime network. Yale graduates 15 bonesmen per year who then help each other for next 50 years of careers. Over 150 years, that creates network of approximately 3,000 people in positions of power who recognize each other, trust each other through shared initiation, and advance each other's interests. It's not conspiracy requiring coordination, it's class solidarity through institutional structure. Now here's where single Yale society becomes system, revealing how power perpetuates across generations. Skull and Bones is entry point, but wider network is Council on Foreign Relations. The CFR was founded 1921 by group including Skull and Bones members, funded initially by Rockefeller money and J.P. Morgan banking interests, with mission of influencing U.S. foreign policy. Membership today is approximately 5,000 including political leaders, corporate executives, journalists, academics, and military officials. But here's the devastating statistic. Virtually every Secretary of State since Dean Acheson, 1949 to 53, has been CFR member before, during, or after holding office. Dean Acheson, John Foster Dulles, Dean Rusk, Henry Kissinger, Cyrus Vance, Alexander Haig, George Shultz, James Baker, Warren Christopher, Madeleine Albright, Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Rex Tillerson, all CFR members. Every Treasury Secretary, Robert Rubin, Lawrence Summers, Timothy Geithner, Jack Lew, Stephen M. Mnuchin, CFR. Every CIA Director, Alan Dulles, Richard Helms, William Colby, George H.W. Bush, Robert Gates, Leon Panetta, David Petraeus, John Brennan, CFR. Every Federal Reserve Chairman since Arthur Burns, 1970. Paul Volcker, Alan Greenspan, Ben Bernanke, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, all CFR. This isn't suggesting they're all controlled by CFR giving orders. It's showing they're all selected from same network, share same worldview shaped by CFR publications and meetings, and coordinate through organization bringing together government officials, corporate leaders, and media before decisions are made publicly. And here's the mechanism revealing why this matters. CFR publishes Foreign Affairs Journal, most influential foreign policy publication, holds private meetings where government officials discuss policy with corporate leaders, and creates consensus among elite before policy is announced to public. When Colin Powell addressed CFR before Iraq War, when Condoleezza Rice presented at CFR meetings, when Timothy Geithner discussed financial policy at CFR events, these weren't public communications. They were coordinating with elite network determining acceptable policy positions. CFR doesn't need to give orders because members already share perspective from years of participation. The worldview is, American global hegemony is necessary and good, free trade benefits everyone, ignore distributional effects. Financial deregulation promotes growth, ignore instability and inequality. Regime change is legitimate tool, ignore blowback. And elite coordination is more effective than democratic debate, the quiet part. CFR members staff both Republican and Democratic administrations because both parties draw from same pool when selecting cabinet officials. Foreign policy appears bipartisan not because parties agree, but because both parties staff positions with CFR members who already agree with each other regardless of party label. The continuity across administrations, from Bush to Obama to Trump to Biden, on fundamental issues like NATO expansion, Middle East intervention, China containment, financial sector deregulation, reveals not partisan politics, but elite consensus formed in organizations like CFR before candidates even run. But wait, there's another layer showing this network is global, not just American: the Trilateral Commission. Founded 1973 by David Rockefeller, Chase Manhattan Bank chairman and CFR director, with Zbigniew Brzezinski, later Carter's national security advisor. The Trilateral Commission brings together approximately 400 elite from North America, Europe, and Japan to coordinate policy across regions. Membership includes 19 U.S. presidents or vice presidents either before or after office. Jimmy Carter was member before becoming president, selected by Brzezinski, who became his national security advisor. The man who recruited Carter into Trilateral made Carter president, then joined his administration. George H.W. Bush was member. Bill Clinton was member before presidency. Dick Cheney was member. Joe Biden was member. Not fringe conspiracy claim. These are official Trilateral Commission membership, rosters publicly available showing U.S. political leaders joining organization, explicitly created to coordinate policy between North America, Europe, and Asia beyond democratic national processes. The stated purpose per Trilateral Commission website: promote closer cooperation among these core democratic industrialized areas of the world, with shared leadership responsibilities in the wider international system. Translation: coordinate among elite in US, Europe, and Japan to manage global economy and policy, regardless of what voters in individual countries want. And here's the pattern becoming undeniable. Same people rotate between same positions across decades through same organizations. Henry Kissinger, CFR member, Trilateral Commission member, Secretary of State under Nixon and Ford, consultant to every president since. Kissinger Associates provides corporate clients access to government contacts. Sits on corporate boards including American Express, personally worth hundreds of millions from revolving door between government position providing contacts and private sector monetizing those contacts. Robert Rubin, CFR, Trilateral Commission, Goldman Sachs co-chairman 1990-92, Treasury Secretary under Clinton 1995-99, Citigroup Director 99-2009, earning $115 million, Harvard Corporation Fellow. Lawrence Summers, CFR, Treasury Secretary under Clinton, Harvard President, Obama's National Economic Council Director, hedge fund consultant earning millions. Timothy Geithner, CFR, Trilateral Commission, New York Federal Reserve President, 2003-2009, Treasury Secretary under Obama, 2009-13, Warburg Pincus President, private equity firm. The pattern: attend elite university, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, join CFR and Trilateral during early career, work in government building contacts and shaping policy, leave government for corporate board or financial firm earning millions from contacts made in government, return to government next administration, retire to think tank or university, consult for corporations while maintaining influence. Revolving door isn't corruption, it's the system. Government positions are temporary stops in careers where real money is made monetizing government contacts in private sector. Now here's where it gets darker, because it shows coordination happening in complete secrecy. The Bilderberg Group. Founded 1954 by Prince Bernhard of Netherlands and CIA. Yes, CIA helped create it. Bilderberg meets annually, bringing together approximately 130 attendees, including heads of state, prime ministers, bank CEOs, tech company founders, media owners, and intelligence officials. Meetings are completely private, no press allowed, no minutes published, attendees sign non-disclosure agreements, security locks down entire hotel. Recent attendees based on leaked lists: Jens Stoltenberg, NATO Secretary General; Mark Carney, former Bank of England Governor; Larry Fink, BlackRock CEO; Larry Summers, Google founders, Facebook executives, editors of major newspapers including Washington Post and New York Times, intelligence officials, prime ministers of multiple European nations. They meet for 3 days, discuss global policy, return to their positions of power, and public never learns what was discussed. And heads of state and bank CEOs and media owners meet in secret for 3 days annually and refuse to disclose discussions. That's coordination beyond democratic process. Critics say, it's just talking, nothing binding. But imagine, NATO Secretary General, Bank of England Governor, BlackRock CEO managing 10 trillion in assets, Google founders and prime ministers discussing monetary policy, tech regulation, military strategy, and media narratives in private meeting. Then imagine them returning to their positions, implementing coordinated policy, without public ever knowing coordination occurred. That's exactly what happens annually at Bilderberg, and it's dismissed as conspiracy theory despite being documented fact with public attendance lists. And here's the enforcement mechanism showing why media doesn't cover this. Media owners and editors attend. When Washington Post owner or New York Times editor attends secret Bilderberg meeting, their publications don't investigate Bilderberg because they're participants, not observers. When Google founders attend, Google's search algorithms don't prioritize Bilderberg investigative journalism. When editors of major financial publications attend, they don't assign reporters to dig into attendee backgrounds and connections. The network is self-protecting. Elite coordinate through organizations, and media elite participate in same organizations, preventing coverage of coordination. Occasionally, alternative media covers it, but mainstream dismisses as conspiracy theory despite publicly available attendance lists and admitted private meetings. The genius is hiding in plain sight. They don't deny meetings happen, just dismiss suggestion that private meetings of most powerful people on earth discussing policy they'll implement from power positions represents anything other than informal dialogue. If 130 most powerful people globally met in secret to discuss policy and refused transparency, you'd assume coordination. But add Bilderberg label and suddenly it's conspiracy theory, even though the facts, secret meeting, powerful attendees, no transparency are undisputed. But here's the mechanism completing the picture and showing how system reproduces across generations. The educational pipeline. Elite families send children to same preparatory schools, Phillips Exeter Academy, Phillips Academy Andover, Choate Rosemary Hall, Groton School. These schools pipeline students to same universities, Yale, Harvard, Princeton, where secret societies, Skull and Bones at Yale, Porcellian Club at Harvard, Ivy Club at Princeton, and invitation-only organizations recruit from wealthy families and groom for leadership. Graduate school continues at Harvard Business School, Yale Law School, Kennedy School of Government. Then CFR membership in 20s or 30s, Trilateral Commission in 40s if successful, possible Bilderberg invitation in 50s if very successful. The children of elite attend same schools, join same societies, enter same graduate programs, get recruited to same organizations, staff same government positions, join same corporate boards, and send their children to same schools continuing cycle. Chelsea Clinton and Ivanka Trump are friends, went to same schools, move in same circles, married into elite families. Clinton married investment banker, Trump married real estate and Democratic donor family. Political opposition between Clinton and Trump families is performance for public. Daughters are friends because class solidarity transcends partisan politics. Both families are elite connected through same networks regardless of party label. This is the empire economy. Skull and Bones Secret Society at Yale has inducted approximately 2,800 members since 1832, producing 3 U.S. presidents, Taft, both Bushes, multiple Supreme Court justices, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, Secretary of State John Kerry, and 2004 election where both candidates, Bush and Kerry, were members refusing to discuss society. They met in weekly for year in windowless building called the Tomb. Council on Foreign Relations, founded 1921 with Rockefeller funding and Morgan Bank support, has provided virtually every Secretary of State, Treasury Secretary, CIA Director, and Federal Reserve Chairman for 70 years, including Dean Acheson through Antony Blinken, Robert Rubin through Janet Yellen, Alan Dulles through John Brennan, and Paul Volcker through Jerome Powell. Creating foreign policy and economic consensus across administrations regardless of party, because both parties staff from same network. Trilateral Commission, founded 1973 by David Rockefeller, has included 19 U.S. presidents or vice presidents, including Jimmy Carter. Recruited by Brzezinski, who became his national security advisor, proving the recruiter made the president. George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Dick Cheney, and Joe Biden, coordinating policy between North American, European, and Asian, elite beyond democratic national processes. Bilderberg Group meets annually in complete secrecy with 130 attendees, including NATO Secretary General, central bank governors, BlackRock CEO, tech company founders, media owners, and prime ministers discussing policy with no press coverage. No published minutes, and attendees signing non-disclosure agreements, while media doesn't investigate because media owners and editors attend same meetings. The revolving door shows same people rotating through government and private sector. Kissinger from CFR to Secretary of State, to Kissinger associates earning hundreds of millions. Rubin from Goldman Sachs to Treasury, to Citigroup earning $115 million. Geithner from New York Fed to Treasury, to Warburg Pincus Private Equity. Government positions are temporary stops in elite careers, where contacts made in government are monetized in private sector, before returning to government next administration. The educational pipeline reproduces system across generations. Phillips Exeter and Choate pipeline to Yale and Harvard. Skull and Bones and Porcelain recruit from wealthy families. CFR membership in early career. Trilateral and Bilderberg if successful. Children attend same schools continuing cycle, as Chelsea Clinton and Ivanka Trump friendship proves. Class solidarity transcends partisan politics, because elite families send children to same schools, creating networks lasting lifetimes. The pattern across 150 years proves democracy changed who appears to govern, while elite networks determine who gets selected as candidates. Both parties staff from same organizations, creating bipartisan consensus on issues serving elite interests like financial deregulation and foreign intervention. Coordination happens through private meetings beyond democratic oversight. And revolving door between government and private sector ensures policies benefit networks that staff administrations. When 15 Yale students inducted annually into secret society produces 3 presidents, when every Secretary of State for 70 years comes from 5,000-member CFR, when 130 most powerful people meet annually in secret refusing transparency, when same people rotate between Treasury Department and Goldman Sachs, earning millions from contacts made in government. You're seeing proof that voting chooses between candidates emerging from selection system ordinary people cannot access. Democracy is choosing flavor of elite rule, not choosing whether elite rule at all, and understanding that skull and bones to CFR to Trilateral to Bilderberg is documented pipeline creating class that staffs administrations reveals empires don't need monarchies to maintain elite power across generations, just need institutions recruiting from same universities. Societies initiating future leaders through private rituals, organizations coordinating policy beyond public oversight, and revolving doors ensuring government serves networks that staff it rather than voters who elect it.